How many times have you been in this situation? Thank you so much for your help. You have been amazing. What do you say back? You're welcome. There are so many other ways to respond to thanks. There are lots of other phrases that you can use that are a lot more interesting than you're welcome. And remember to think about the context. Is it an informal situation with friends, or are you in more of a business situation, or perhaps at school or university where you want to be a little bit more formal and respectful? So in today's lesson, I'm going to teach you lots of expressions to respond to thanks. So next time somebody says, thank you so much, oh, cheers, you're a legend, you'll know how to respond and to avoid using you're welcome. Before we get started, don't forget to click the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you know when our lessons are uploaded and ready for you. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So, some nice informal ways to say you're welcome in English. Don't mention it. Don't mention it. Meaning, it was nothing. Don't worry. You don't even have to say thank you. Don't mention it. No worries. No worries. I was happy to help. Not a problem. Not a problem. My pleasure. It was my pleasure to help you. Ah, it was nothing. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to help. So you can see how some of these expressions work really well together. You can actually put them as one phrase. Don't mention it. I'm happy to help. Not at all. Not at all. It was nothing. Anytime. Don't mention it. Anytime, meaning anytime I'm happy to help. It was no bother. It was no bother. Bother is actually a little bit more formal way of saying no problem. It was no bother, meaning it wasn't a problem for me to help or to do whatever I did. That means you're thankful. It's nothing. Think nothing of it. It's nothing. Think nothing of it. Sure. Sure. No worries. Sure thing. Sure thing. So these are really common expressions of responding to thanks. To say that you were happy to help somebody, or whatever you did, you were happy to do it. Now, in more formal situations, we could use some other expressions. And of course, in formal situations, you're less likely to contract your words as much. So for example, it wasn't a problem. It was my pleasure to help. It was not a problem at all. I was happy to be of assistance. I was happy to be of assistance. So obviously in more formal situations, you could use slightly longer expressions, and remember not to contract your words. So instead of saying, no worries, no problem, you could say, the pleasure was all mine. The pleasure was all mine. I was happy to help. You're most welcome. You are most welcome. There you probably could contract you are. It's the most that makes it sound a little bit more formal. You're most welcome. It was no trouble at all. It was no trouble at all. No need to thank me. No need to thank me. And there we go. Plenty of expressions to respond to thanks. So you don't need to use you're welcome at all, or very little. You're most welcome. You're technically using exactly those words, but hey. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget, there's plenty more where that came from.